Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered combos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered, and yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in. Did Diana Jenkins lie about donating to the Lion Air plane crash families that were formerly represented by Girardi Keese? Well, attorney Jay Edelson is calling her out, and people are like, ooh, we knew Diana Jenkins was a liar. We knew she was a liar with her tongue, and she slithers out her little tongue, and she's like a snake, right? Well, in a new interview on Emily D. Baker's YouTube channel, you know, we love Emily D. Baker. Shout out to Emily. Love Emily D. Baker. If you're not subscribed, you should probably go and subscribe to her YouTube channel right now. So on her YouTube channel, she conducted a great interview with Jay Edelson. And Jay Edelson is making a shocking claim that the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star did not actually donate the $100,000 that she claimed she was giving to help the families of the Lion Air plane crash, okay? I found that kind of funny because on her campaign page, you can clearly see that the donation was in fact made in Diana's name for the amount of $100,000. I remember seeing this when the money was originally pledged. I remember seeing it when the money then appeared to be donated. She opened up the fund, allowed other people to donate. I believe it's a little over $102,000 that have been donated. At this point, she gave $100,000, and then other people gave smaller donations. And I think it's currently at 102, or a little over 102. But anyway, now people keep saying she donated the money to her charity. Also, not true. Also false, because the money was collected through JV&G, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization here in California, to which Diana has no affiliation with, other than like as a campaign host or a donor, but she's not on their board of directors. She has no financial interest in JV&G. They're literally an independent third party involved in this, and they're the ones that are collecting the donations. She does have her own Sunella Foundation, or Sunella Foundation. I guess I'm not sure how that's pronounced. The logo is kind of like a sun, so I would assume since her name is Sunella would be, you know, that's the little tweak or play on her name. But anyway, that is her foundation, which I know she was using to bring awareness to this charity fund, but that's not where the donations are actually being collected. So it's not like the money is sitting in any of her bank accounts currently. So it currently sits with JV&G, okay? Now, why haven't Jay Edelson's clients received their money then? Well, as a reminder, the fund is not it's not just for Girardi Keese clients. The fund is open to all families in need that were impacted by the Lion Air plane crash in Indonesia. So anybody that was related to somebody in that plane crash that is in need of financial assistance, that's what this fund is specifically set up for. So I believe Jay Edelson's clients might be entitled to some of that money. Other people, other families in Indonesia, the other orphans and widows, because we know that Girardi Keese and Jay Edelson, or Edelson PC, only represented a small fraction of the families impacted by the plane crash, not all of them. So recently, what's today, Wednesday? So earlier this week, Diana issued a statement claiming that she's working with JV&G now to disperse the funds to make sure those families can actually receive help. She also clarified that the fund is still open and will remain open until the end of the year. So anyone that wants to donate, Garcelle, Sutton, just in case you're wondering, if you would like to donate, you can still make a donation today. So that's why the donation has not actually been, the money hasn't been cut yet or hasn't been sent out yet. When the donations close, the money can then be dispersed. I would imagine there would also need to be some sort of rules and regulations set. I would imagine that there would need to be some sort of application process with guidelines to, one, prove that you are a relative of someone that was involved in the plane crash, and two, are in need of financial assistance. And then we also have to determine, well, how close is a close relative to somebody on the plane crash? Could it be I have a lot of family members. If I happen to pass away in a plane crash, could any one of my 50 cousins just be like, hey, I was related to Zack, I'm entitled to money? So all of those guidelines will kind of need to be refined, and those qualifications will need to be made clear. I would also assume that the fund would need to be split up into grants with specific dollar amounts that are outlined for people that qualify. That way it's evenly set across the board, because I know that was another thing that Jay Edelson kind of again, I don't know what his experience is with the nonprofit world. I just know that's where my background is. And I remember when we had a grant program with one of the foundations I used to work with, we had a very clear dollar amount. It was $2,500 that the grant was worth, and that was to ensure that everybody that applied was entitled to the same equal amount of money, right? It's not a lottery win. It's not a 50-50 raffle. It's so we have to make the playing field even for all that are applying. Or you have to set up different tiers, and there are different qualifications for each of those different tiers, but we need to make sure that it's equal, and everybody's entitled to the same amount of money. So it takes time to set these kinds of things up. So listen, I would imagine that it's going to take a minute for them to get all of their ducks in a row, but I would also imagine Diana Jenkins didn't just throw away $100,000 that seemingly goes nowhere. She seems to be a fairly philanthropic woman. So for it to be some big elaborate PR stunt where she would just throw away $100K and have zero remorse for that, I find that a bit strange, and I don't think that that's the case. I think she's genuinely trying to help. Now, Jay Edelson, if you'll remember, he was former co-counsel with Girardi Keese on the Lion Air case, which he represented some of the families. He claimed that his clients were entitled to $2 million that Girardi Keese never paid out. A judge in Illinois agreed that Girardi Keese did need to end up paying that money, and this is the case that ended up blowing up the whole scandal. Jay Edelson's the one that accused Erica of having a sham divorce once he found out that she was she was leaving Tom Girardi. So Jay is now suing all of Girardi Keese's officers, as well as lender James DiNardo and Tom's estranged wife, Erica Girardi, in his new $50 million lawsuit. So his clients are entitled to $2 million. So that would mean the rest of that $50 million would be like restitution, attorney's fees, et cetera, et cetera. He did note that any settlement money that does come in, he's planning to split that money with the clients. So it would be the firm and the clients. He has paid them out directly. He used it, I believe, his firm's insurance fund to make sure that those clients at least got their $2 million. So that way they're not out of any money that they were owed. He's now just fighting for that $2 million back, since he had to pull it out of his own firm's account. He's now fighting for that money back and then some. And again, that's going to be restitution. That's going to be, I've broken it down deeper in the Lion Air video that I did on the YouTube channel, but long story short, he's trying to make sure they get some additional money, and also, trying to get money for his firm as well. And I don't think that's a terrible thing. Everyone's out for themselves. And listen, I think he's worked very hard and he's entitled to something, right? So, the families have been paid. Jay's now assuming all risk in suing Girardi Keese and company moving forward. I've been very clear. I don't think Erica Girardi belongs in that lawsuit. I don't think that is something. I think the other people, Lyra, Griffin, Camone, DiNardo, sure, let's go after all the guys that worked there and were part of this whole scheme, this whole confusing Jen Shaw, this whole embezzlement Ponzi scheme. Erica, I don't think needs to be dragged into the lawsuit. But that's my own personal side opinion. Anyway, so I want to clarify too, though, that I believe that both Jay and Diana are really just trying to do the right thing by these families. Are they going to make every perfect step? No, I don't think either of them is lying. I don't think Jay was lying when he said that his clients haven't seen the money, because the money hasn't been dispersed yet. The fund is still open for donations until the end of December. Do I think Diana was lying and saying that she, and accusing her of not donating the money? No, I don't think she was lying either, because the money has been donated, and you can see it on the JVNG website. The money has been donated and it is listed there. So I don't think either of them are lying. I don't understand why the two of them would find themselves as adversaries in any of this, but, It is what it is. If you are interested in learning more about the Girardi stuff or just all of the legal cases, the Jen Shaw stuff, the Chrisley stuff, I'd suggest checking out our deep dive archive. We have a whole playlist on YouTube, youtube.com/justplainzack, for a deep dive analysis into all of the Girardi case embezzlement Ponzi scheme scandal. I also think I'm probably going to do maybe a new deep dive into the Gorga lawsuits lately, because I feel like that Joe Gorga and Melissa Gorga, they've been some lawsuits have popped up about them that some people asked me to look into. Maybe as the new season of Jersey begins, we'll dive into that as well. But